Okay, so I think we're streaming. Let's see if we're live. Probably are. Let's take a look. Okay, it says it's starting. And we are live. All right, great. Okay, so let's take a look. This is our thumbnail for today. Ooh, we have an idiom. We have a picture. We're going to talk about it. We have a conversation. We're going to do lots of vocabulary and phrases. And there's a quiz today. Oh, this is the first time we've done a quiz live. Okay, so hey, welcome. All right, so let's talk about what are we going to do today? I think it's a great question. All right, here we go. In this English lesson, we're going to talk about an idiom. Then we're going to use pictures, or we're going to use a picture and the idiom to create a conversation. That's right, step by step. Then we'll use pictures to explain vocabulary and phrases in the conversation that we created. Right. And the most exciting part is that we're going to test you with a quiz. We're going to study, and then we'll test you. Make sure you're understanding what we've been learning. Okay, and last thing, we're going to improve your English. Okay, if you have any questions, you want to make a comment about something, that's great. Feel free, I'll be watching the comments, and if you have something or question or something to add, I'll be looking at the comments and I will respond. Okay, so let's start with the idiom. The idiom for today is on the other hand. We need to talk about, what does this idiom mean? Okay? Well, when we use the idiom on the other hand, it means it's from a different, conflicting, or contrary point of view. So contrary is very similar to the word conflicting, and it just means different, right? So if I say I like chocolate ice cream, you might say, no way, I like vanilla ice cream. So you're conflicting. You have a different opinion or a different perspective. Okay? So when we use the idiom on the other hand, we're looking at things from a different perspective, a different point of view. We have a different opinion, right? We think something different about something. Okay, so let's see this idiom in an example. Okay, here we go. Ooh, you're a great artist. On the other hand, you're the worst driver I've ever seen. You're horrible. Oh, it looks like we have someone joining in the comments. Yildiz Tugay, welcome. Oh, okay. All right. So our example was, you're a great artist. On the other hand, you're the worst driver I've ever seen. You're horrible. All right. So on the other hand is in this example. And they could have said, well, from a different perspective, from a different point of view, you're the worst driver ever. Okay, so let's talk about a few things in this short example. You're a great artist. All right, let's see a couple different ways to say you're a great artist. And these pictures are colorful, they're wonderful, things that artists would do. You can say you're a great creator. Right? A creator is someone who creates things, right? You're a great designer. A designer is someone who designs something. They create something like clothing or paintings, or they design a building. And another way that's similar to say you're a great artist would be you're a great producer. All right. So these are similar ways to say you're a great artist. They're not exactly the same. If we go to producer, oh, Mustafa Arzi is here. Hello, welcome. All right. When we talk about a producer, at least in like the movies and stuff, they're more like they manage things, right? They make sure everything is working well and things are moving along nicely. A designer, it's similar to an artist, that they create things. They work usually behind the scenes and they're creating something. And a creator is just a very general term for someone who makes things, right? Comes up with ideas, creates YouTube videos, creates paintings. So in this picture over here, we have a lady, maybe a model, I don't know, but someone probably painted her skin full of colors and she's posing for the camera. This person here is working with pottery, and they're using clay and they're molding it to make a jar or something like that. And down below we can see a hand that's coming into the picture, and it looks like they're dipping a brush into the brown bucket of paint, and there are a lot of different buckets of paint. So they're probably, maybe they painted the woman. Okay, so back to the example. We just looked up, you're a great artist. So on the other hand, you're the worst driver I've ever seen. You're horrible. Let's look at other ways to say you're horrible. This would be an insult. An insult is the opposite of a compliment, right? So here we go. You're horrible. And we'll talk about the pictures in a moment. Let's see, you could say, you suck. This one's kind of rude. If you tell someone they suck, it's quite strong. You're horrible. You could say, you're terrible. You could also say, you're appalling. These are all similar ways to, you're horrible. You're really bad. You suck. You're dreadful. And you're atrocious. And I have to say these with a little bit of emotion because they all have an exclamation mark, right? An exclamation point or an exclamation mark. So I can't just say, you're horrible. You suck. You're terrible. No. And you're horrible. You suck. You're terrible. You're appalling. You're dreadful. You're atrocious. Now, of all of these, they're all insults, right? It's not a compliment for the other person. And they're all pretty bad. The one that's probably the most informal is probably you suck. Some people just don't like this word. And so that could cause some people to be upset. All right, let's take a look at the pictures. All right, let's start with the guy who's talking on the phone. And talking might be kind of a nice way to say it because it looks like he's pissed off. You suck. You're horrible. And let's see. The lady right here in the middle, she is very upset, and it's very easy to see that she could be yelling, you suck. You're appalling. You're dreadful. This lady, she has her arms up. She's showing her emotion. Something has just made her very upset, and she's letting someone know that they're horrible. And this one is just an angry face on a big board or a piece of cardboard, something that someone is holding up. Okay, so that was our example for the idiom, you're on the other hand. You're a great artist. On the other hand, in other words, from a different perspective, you're the worst driver I've ever seen. You're horrible. Okay, so let's move forward. All right, so first we are going to take a look at a picture. And later we're going to use this picture and create a conversation. With idiom and with vocabulary and phrases. But first what we're going to do is we're going to describe the picture. So we're going to talk about this picture because it's the basis for what we're going to use in the conversation. Okay, so we have two people. We have mom and we have son. And if you guys want to help describe this picture in the comments, that would be great. I will respond to your comments. Okay, so mom is looking at her son and her son is looking at the mom. Let's talk about what the mom is wearing. I would say she's wearing a gray sweater, and it looks like there are holes in the sweater, and that's probably why she has a white t-shirt on underneath. She has short hair, and I'd say it's brown hair with different highlights in the hair. So there's light brown, there's darker brown, stuff like that. Looks like she's wearing black jeans, and she has some tennis shoes on. It doesn't look like she's wearing socks. She is sitting on the floor, leaning against the wall next to her son. And on her face, she kind of has this cute look, like she's trying to communicate something to her son. She has her face kind of all scrunched up like that. And her son is wearing a long sleeve, looks like a long sleeve dark blue shirt. He has light, you could say light blonde hair, like yellow hair. And he's looking up toward his mom, and it looks like he has a very content, happy look on his face. And he's pointing at something. And I think he's pointing at something on the map in front of them, right? And he is barefoot, means he's not wearing any shoes or socks. And the location, it looks like they're inside a house or a room, and it's a wood wall behind them, and it's a dark, I think, wooden floor beneath them, right? So that's describing the picture in a lot of details. The next step is we're going to summarize the picture. So we just talked about the picture and what's in it and stuff like that. Mustafa Arzi says both of them are interacting to each other, right? And Sarah Mo is here. Hello, hello, teacher. All right, hello with apples. Wonderful. So let's summarize this picture. I just gave you a lot of details about it, but sometimes we just want a few pieces of information. So we could say a mother and her son are sitting on the floor near the wall. There is a map in front of the son. It looks like they are having a good time talking about something related to the map. Right? Mustafa Arzi says maybe they're in a hut. Sure, that's possible. Maybe it's a cabin. Maybe it's I don't know, out in the woods. Maybe they're on a hunting trip or they're on vacation. They want to relax in the woods. So this is how I would summarize the picture. I would say a mother and her son are sitting on the floor near the wall. There is a map in front of the son. It looks like they're having a good time talking about something related to the map. And when I say related to the map, because the son is pointing at the map, right? So perhaps they told a joke or they thought something was funny, and that's why the mom kind of has a cute look on her face and the boy is looking up at her smiling. Okay, so we summarized the picture. Now we're going to use this picture to create a conversation. Wonderful. Okay, so we still have mom and we have the son, and I'm going to make a conversation. So mom and the son are going to talk to each other. And then we're going to explore the vocabulary and the phrases inside the conversation. And we'll use pictures. All right, so here we go. Let's see if we can make a nice conversation between the son and his mom. So the son is going to start the conversation. He says, "My master plan to take over the world begins tonight." Mom says, "Oh, how interesting." On the other hand, you could just eat your mac and cheese and go to bed. Son, what? Didn't you hear me? I'm planning world domination. Forget the mac and cheese. Mom, oh, my sweet little pumpkin. Hi. On the other hand, you could play with your Legos. I'll bring you some milk and cookies. Okay, so this is a conversation. I'm going to go through and I'm going to make the idioms bold, because the idiom that we're using as a theme today is on the other hand, right? So I'm going to make them bold so it's very easy to see where they are in the conversation and how they're used. And once again, on the other hand just means from a different perspective, all right? Okay, so let me make sure I didn't make any typing mistakes, and I'm going to repeat the conversation, at regular speed. Okay, so the mom and son are having a nice little conversation, and the son starts by saying, "My master plan to take over the world begins tonight." Mom, "Oh, how interesting. On the other hand, you could just eat your mac and cheese and go to bed." Son, "What? Didn't you hear me? I'm planning world domination. Forget the mac and cheese." Mom, "Oh, my sweet little pumpkin pie. On the other hand, you could play with your Legos. I'll bring you some milk and cookies." Okay. All right. Sarah Mo says, "I repeat with you, teacher." Wonderful. Great opportunity to practice your pronunciation. Okay. So we use the idiom 2 times in this conversation. On the other hand, and on the other hand. This conversation is a little crazy. Now the son, he has maybe some evil plans, and the mom is just like, "Oh, my cute little boy, my cute little boy, my sweet pumpkin pie." Okay, so let's break this conversation into different parts, and we're going to talk about them. So the son starts out, he says, "My master plan to take over the world begins tonight." So I think we should talk about what it means to take over the world. And of course, let's look at some pictures and all that great stuff. Okay, so, all right, we have a comment. Mustafa RZ says, "Mom, excuse me, Mom wants to teach her son how to use the map when he comes of age, right? He can walk in remote areas without depending on other people or tools. On the other hand, her son is snooting." Like he's snooty? Maybe he has a little bit of an attitude? I don't know. All right, so let's talk about the phrase take over the world. And the son is the one who says it in the first thing he says in this conversation. "My master plan to take over the world begins tonight." Let's take a look at other ways to say take over the world. All right, so we have some nice pictures, and we'll talk about them in a moment. But first, here are similar ways to say take over the world. Okay, you could say dominate the world. Right. You could say control the universe. You could say have all the power. And the last one, which I think is a little funny, crush everyone in your path. Okay, so these are different ways to say take over the world. The idea is that someone wants to have all the power. And in the conversation, when he says, "My master plan to take over the world," my great plan, my wonderful plan to take over the world begins tonight. In Mustafa RZ, taking over the world means leading the planet. Possible. And it can be a good way or a bad way. And the way this kid's talking, I don't think it's a good way. Okay, so take over the world, dominate the world, control the universe, have all the power. And maybe you could say take, take all the power. And crush. Crush means like if you take a can and you crush it. Crush everyone in your path, right? So you crush them. So take over the world, it could be good, but a lot of times you have like maybe an evil genius who's sitting in the corner saying, "I'm going to take over the world," right? I'm going to control the universe. And when they say universe, control the universe, it doesn't actually mean the universe because that's kind of impossible. But the idea is to use the universe, which includes the sun, the planets, and the stars, the galaxy. You say, "I want to control the universe," it really shows your ambition, your idea to control everything. Okay, so let's talk about this picture right here. It's probably the simplest one. And it's just a hand that is holding the world. You could call this a globe, right? It's the world. It's a round map of the earth that you can carry around like it's a ball, right? And you can see the oceans and the different continents. So this person is holding the world in their hand and they're like, ha ha ha, I'm taking over the world. Okay, in this picture is kind of the part where it gets to crush everyone in your path. So in your journey to become the most powerful person in the world, if anybody gets in your way and says, "Ooh, slow down," you got to crush them. Okay, so this picture shows a hand crushing a person, and maybe the person was saying, you know, I don't want you to take over the world. Okay, in this picture on top, we see a giant foot, a huge foot, right? And it's like a giant person, or I don't know. And if you look very close, there's a tiny little person right down here, right? And that person is probably like, oh, that's a big foot. I'm going to be crushed. The idea here is that this person, they're the biggest one. They can control everything, and maybe they can control the world and dominate the world. Okay, all right. So back to the conversation. The next part, Mom says, how interesting. On the other hand, you could just eat your mac and cheese and go to bed. Let's take a look at other ways to say on the other hand. And that is the idiom that we're using today. I'm going to give you other ways to say on the other hand. All right, so we have pictures, and I'm going to first give you some other ways to say this idiom. You could say from a different point of view. You could say another way to look at things. And you could also say, well, we could also say, and another one is another option. So you might be disagreeing with someone, or you want to say it in a kind way that you have a different idea how something should work. So you say, well, on the other hand, from a different point of view, another way to look at things, we could also say, or another option, right? All right, let's see, we have a question. Let's see. Mustafa RZ says, does the universe mean only this world, or it contains other worlds too? Could you please tell us what is the difference between universe and world? Okay, let's go back to the world. So I would say the universe contains all of the worlds. In other words, the worlds are inside the universe. So if the universe is a big bucket, all of the worlds are inside the universe. The universe is like everything. And inside the universe, maybe different worlds. You have Earth, you have planets, maybe there are other worlds with aliens that we don't know about. So universe is the big one, and worlds are inside the universe. Okay? Hopefully that answers your question, right? Okay, so let's take a look at these pictures. When someone tells you, on the other hand, they're giving you feedback. They're giving you information from a different point of view. It doesn't mean you like it or you accept it or you want it, but they're giving you another opinion. So they're giving you feedback. And feedback is just information that you receive from other people about what you said, about what you did, maybe about your ideas, stuff like that. So when you guys leave comments or you have questions or you tell me something, you're giving me feedback, right? And I love feedback. It helps me to become a better teacher. All right, so in this picture on the wall, there are a whole bunch of pictures, right? Looks like pictures of people. And in the front, there are 3 people sitting on a bench. And they could be having a conversation, talking about the pictures and saying, ooh, I like this picture better. Or, oh, I think this picture is much better. And maybe they don't all agree, right? So if someone says, ooh, I think I found the best picture here. If someone says, well, on the other hand, I think that picture over there is a little bit better. From a different point of view, I think that picture is really good as well. Okay, so that is on the other hand. It's kind of a respectful way to introduce your information that is different or conflicts or is not the same as what someone else is talking about. Okay, back to the conversation. All right. So mom said, how interesting. On the other hand, from a different point of view, something else we could do, you could just eat your mac and cheese and go to bed. Do you guys know what mac and cheese is? Maybe I'll look at the comments, see if you guys can tell me what is mac and cheese. Because if I show you, the picture is obvious what mac and cheese is. See, I'll type it over here. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments, what is mac and cheese? Well, we know it's something that you eat, right? And so mom said you could just eat your mac and cheese and go to bed. The kid's talking about taking over the world, but mom's just like, oh, you can eat your mac and cheese and go to bed. All right, I don't see any comments about mac and cheese, so let's see what it is. Oh, this is mac and cheese. All right, so mac is short for macaroni, right? It's kind of a pasta. It's a kind of pasta. And macaroni and cheese, or people just call it mac and cheese, it's very, very common in my country, United States. I grew up eating mac and cheese. I still eat mac and cheese. It's just really delicious. Sometimes I put ketchup on top. Oh, Sarah Moe says, I think McDonald's. Right, that starts with Mac too, right? McDonald's. So here it's short. Mustafa says, mouse and cheese. Right? So here mac means macaroni. And macaroni is a type of pasta. And specifically, there are different shapes of pasta. The shapes on this one, they are shells. There's shell pasta, there's penne pasta, there's spaghetti, there is, linguine, there's elbow pasta. So there's a lot of different kinds of pasta, which just describes the shape. However, no matter what the shape of the pasta, we just say mac and cheese. Because you just take the pasta, make it soft, you add the milk, you add the cheese, you add whatever other secret ingredients you might use, and then this is what you get. And some of the common ingredients are, let's see, I'll put common ingredients, because people might have different ways to make it. Milk, butter, cheese, and of course pasta. And then I'll put etc, and etc means etc, etc, right? Etc just is another way to say and all of the other stuff. Maybe someone likes to put a little bit of chili pepper in there or chili powder, or maybe they want to add meat or some other thing in their mac and cheese. But the most common ingredients are milk, butter, cheese, pasta. And if you buy mac and cheese from a box, comes in a box, then it's probably a powdered cheese, which tastes great, but it's not very healthy. But anyway, this is mac and cheese, short for macaroni and cheese, and it's wonderful. So here's pasta. It's elbow pasta before it's cooked. And this is Swiss cheese. The cheese in the macaroni and cheese, I guess it depends on you. It could be mozzarella cheese, maybe cheddar cheese, maybe multiple kinds of cheese. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's go back to the conversation. So we just talked about you could just eat your mac and cheese and go to bed. Now, the kid, he's still focused on taking over the world. So he responds to his mom by saying, "What? Didn't you hear me? I'm planning world domination. Forget the mac and cheese." So what? There's a question mark and an exclamation point. So what does Are you not listening? I'm focused on taking over the world, controlling the universe. So he says, didn't you hear me? So let's see other ways to say, didn't you hear me? So we have kids, and maybe the kids, they're kind of frustrated because they're trying to communicate something. So in this conversation, the son is trying to communicate that he wants to take over the world. And he's very serious. And the mom was just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. He's just kind of playing. So here are other ways to say, didn't you hear me? And this is useful even if you're not upset. Maybe you're talking on the phone and there's interference, there's other sounds. You could say, I'm sorry, didn't you hear me? Something like that. So here are other ways to say, didn't you hear me? You could say, are you listening? You could say, are you listening? Which is, can you hear what I'm saying? Another way is very informal is, hello. And that was more if you tell someone something that maybe is simple to understand, and then they don't understand it or they do something different, and then you're like, didn't you just hear what I said? Hello? That would be very informal. You probably don't want to say that to your boss or someone that you respect a lot, right? Another way to say, didn't you hear me, is, do I have to repeat myself? And you could also make it a statement if you want to be direct and just say, you're not listening to me. So in these pictures over here, the kids are kind of serious. This kid right here, there's a girl, and this kid right here, he's kind of like, aren't you listening to me? Hello? Didn't you hear me? And this girl's like, I'm so frustrated. No one's listening to what I'm saying. Let's see a comment. Mustafa RZ says, I would rather cut off my right hand than not eat pasta. I know. When you see these pictures, ooh, tasty. So tasty. Okay. And Mustafa, yes. For if didn't you hear me, you could say, are you deaf? And that is kind of informal. It's almost kind of an insult. But sometimes there are situations where we need to be very direct with people and talk in a strong way. So you say, are you deaf? Like maybe if you have a child and you keep telling them they're old enough, maybe they're 8 or 9 years old, and you say, don't touch the hot pasta, or don't touch the hot pot, you're going to get burned. And the kid keeps going over and wanting to touch it, wanting to touch it. You might say, didn't you hear me? Are you listening? Hello? Because you're trying to communicate that something is very serious, or that you're frustrated that someone is not paying attention to you. They're not listening to what you're saying. So like Mustafa said, you could say, are you deaf? Hello? Okay, so back to the conversation. The son says, what? Didn't you hear me? Hello? Aren't you listening? Are you deaf? I'm planning world domination. So world domination is similar to what we were talking about before when we were doing take over the world, right? World domination is to control the world. So the kid in this picture, he was probably what, like 5 years old? 4? Maybe at most 6 years old? And he's already thinking about taking over the world. So he is planning world domination. He wants to dominate, control the world. And he says, forget mac and cheese, as in, I'm not focused on eating macaroni and cheese. I want to plan and figure out how I'm going to take over the world. Okay. All right, so that's world domination. The mom continues the conversation, and she says, oh, my sweet little pumpkin pie. So let's talk about pumpkin pie. Oh, my conversations have so many different aspects. Okay, So we've been talking about world domination. Now we should talk about pumpkin pie. And the mom here, first we should talk about how she's using it. She's like, oh, my sweet little pumpkin pie. Oh, my honey baby, my loving little son, oh my dear. These are called terms of endearment. When you love someone, you might have an extra name for them. Sweetie, my lovely darling, or here, my sweet little pumpkin. Because she really loves her son, and she's not worried that he's taking over or wants to take over the world. All right, Mustafa RZ says, pestering the world. Yeah, I suppose if you want to take over the world, most people might think that that's very annoying. Stop trying to tell me what to do. Stop pestering me. Okay, so let's talk about something delicious. We talked about macaroni and cheese. Let's talk about pumpkin pie. Ooh. Have you guys had pumpkin pie? In the comments, let me know. Yes or no? Have you eaten pumpkin pie? Because it's delicious. Oh, molto bene. It's delicioso. I love it. It's very common in the United States to eat at Thanksgiving time, which is the fourth Thursday, or the end of November. It's a national holiday in the United States, and it's very common. A traditional meal, traditional part of the meal is to have pumpkin pie. So down here we can see the pumpkins, yummy. But even better, we have pumpkin pie. It's delicious. If you have tried pumpkin pie, let me know in the comments what you think. Okay, so pumpkin pie is what it sounds like. It's a pie made from pumpkins. So pumpkins are a big ingredient. Other ingredients are like eggs, milk, sugar, spices, and whatever, right? Oh, Mustafa RZ says, no, you haven't tried pumpkin pie. Maybe, I suppose it's a very American dish. Maybe but it's delicious. I give it 2 thumbs up. I would give more thumbs if I had more thumbs. Excuse me, let me take a drink just quick. Okay, so pumpkin pie, some of the common ingredients are eggs, milk, sugar, spices, and, of course, pumpkin. It would be kind of strange if it didn't have pumpkin in the pumpkin pie. Oh, Mustafa RZ says, I have eaten its jam. Ooh, so we're talking about pumpkin jam. Ooh, pumpkin jam. Ooh, we might say pumpkin jelly, but it's something that you would put on top of toast, right? You would rub it around on toast. Ooh, sounds delicious. Okay, so this is pumpkin pie, but I think we need to get back to world domination. So back to the conversation we go. So mom says, oh, my sweet little pumpkin pie. And most people, they like pumpkin pie, so it's a positive thing. So if she calls him a sweet little pumpkin pie, then it's not an insult. It's more of a compliment showing that I really love and I care for you. It's showing my affection. Okay, so my sweet little pumpkin pie. On the other hand, in other words, another way to look at things, you could play with your Legos. So I think we could take a look at Legos. On the way there, we're going to look at the pumpkin pie again, because I see a comment. Mustafa says, we cook pumpkin with molasses. Ooh, it's yummy. I love it. Tasty. Interesting. Nice. I bet it's very delicious and sweet, huh? That sounds pretty good. Okay, I need to stay focused on my English lesson. So where were we going? We were going from the conversation. He says, you could play with your Legos. I'm pretty sure you guys know what Legos are, but let's take a look at what Legos are. All right, because Legos are just cool. They have movies, they have the blocks, they're toys. So basically, Legos are toys. if you want to get to a specific term, you could say they are plastic interlocking blocks, right? So a block, a piece of plastic, and interlocking means like they fit together and then they stay together and you can do that. That's what interlocking means. So Legos are plastic interlocking blocks, and we use a big L because Lego is the name of the company and it's what you would call a proper noun, right? So we put a capital L on Lego. So it's uppercase. So let's take a look at the pictures. These are regular Lego blocks, right? You can put them together and build things, very common. Over here we have Batman, Lego, a Lego character, Batman and Superman. I think they were in the Lego movies. And on top we have Stormtroopers, Stormtrooper Lego characters from the movie, from Star Wars, right? And this guy sitting at the desk, he looks a little bit freaked out. He was working on his computer and all of a sudden 1, 2, 3, 4 stormtroopers show up. And when the stormtroopers arrive, something bad is going to happen because they're trying to take over the world. Maybe the son in the conversation, he wants to be a stormtrooper. It's possible. Okay, so we're getting through this conversation. Oh, my sweet little pumpkin pie. On the other hand, you could play with your Legos. You know, something else you could do is play with your Legos. You don't have to plan to take over the world. All right, and then she ends the conversation. I'll bring you some milk and cookies. All right, someone has just popped into the comments. Shaukat Ali says hello from Pakistan. All right. So shukriya for coming. I think shukriya means thank you in Urdu. All right, so let's continue with our lesson. All right, so we did this conversation. I'm going to read it one more time at regular speed so we can see how it flows, right? Because we broke it apart and we talked about all the different parts. We talked about take over the world. We talked about on the other hand, mac and cheese. Didn't you hear me? Pumpkin pie and Legos. So here is the conversation once again. And the background information is that the mother and son are having a conversation. The son says, "My master plan to take over the world begins tonight." Mom, how interesting. On the other hand, you could just eat your mac and cheese and go to bed. Son, what? Didn't you hear me? I'm planning world domination. Forget the mac and cheese. Mom, oh, my sweet little pumpkin pie. On the other hand, you could play with your Legos. I'll bring you some milk and cookies. Okay, so we just finished the conversation. And did you know, let me go back to the thumbnail for this live. Did you know that we're going to have a quiz today? So we've talked about on the other hand, we've done conversation, vocabulary. It's a quiz and it's live. Okay, so let me know in the comments, are you guys ready to take a quiz? We're gonna test you. I know quite a few of you have been here for the whole lesson. Let's see how you do on a quiz. What do you think? If you're ready, give me some apples in the comments. I'm going to get my quiz ready. And, oh, Yildiz Tugay says ready. I love the positive energy. Okay, so we are going to start a quiz. Oh, nice. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to show you questions. I'm going to read the question and I will also read the answer choices. And it's multiple choice quiz or multiple choice test, mini test if you want. You could say exam, but usually exam is like a really long test. Okay, so there are 5 questions. If you can see on my fingers, multiple choice, and each question has 5 choices. So I will read the question, I will read the choices, and then I'm going to play music. And when the music stops, I will show you what the correct answer is. So if you have an idea what the answer is before I give the right answer, put it in the comments. Okay? All right. So this is what the music is going to sound like. Right? Like musical chairs, but it's musical quiz. When the music stops, that's when I give the answer, and then I will explain the answer as well. Okay, so here we go. Let's start the quiz. All right, here we go. Let's switch screens. All right, I'm bigger. My face is bigger. Okay, so here we go. Question number 1. What is another way to say "on the other hand"? Under the bridge and through the woods. Another way to lose our hand. From a different point of view. From someone's other hand. From the same point of view. Okay, so I'm going to play the music, and when the music stops, I'm going to give an answer. You can go ahead and give me your answer in the comments. That would be great. Here we go. Okay, so looks like someone did put an answer in the comments. Let's see. The correct answer is, once again, the question is, what is another way to say "on the other hand"? I gave you multiple ways. The answer is from a different point of view. And let's check to make sure that is correct. If it's green, yes, it's green. Woo! So let's take a look back in the lesson. Let's see, where are we? Let's take a look back in the lesson. On the other hand, right? The first one, from a different point of view. So that is the correct answer in the quiz. On the other hand, from a different point of view. All right, they mean the same thing. So wonderful. Let's go back to the quiz. And here we go. All right, so that was question number 1. Ooh, I see a little button that says continue. Let's go to question number 2. Are you ready? In the conversation picture, what was on the floor in front of the sun? A compass, some Legos, an apple, a pumpkin, or a map? Here's your music. Okay, so let's take a look. I see we have a comment already. Have an answer. So in the conversation picture, this is the picture, you know, where the mom and the son are talking. What was on the floor in front of the son? And the answer is a map. Let's check to see if I'm telling you the truth. Ah, it's green, right. So let's go back quick, and we're going to take a look at the picture. Is, and sure enough, we can see right there in front of the sun is a map. And that map, it looks to me like it's kind of a city map, like a direction map or maybe a road map. But either way, the sun is using it because he wants to take over the world. He wants to dominate the world. Okay, back to the quiz. Here we are. Right, so that was question number 2. Shall we continue? I think so. Okay, what is another way to say, "Didn't you hear me"? Go. Hello. So. No. 0. Okay, here's your music. right. So that is the end of the music to let you know that I'm going to give the correct answer now. Oh, we have answered Andrine, Virginia. Okay, let's see. So what is another way to say, didn't you hear me? The correct answer is, hello. And it's spelled incorrectly, right? It's adding extra O's at the end because we're trying to put emphasis that, hello. All right, so let's check our answer. And it's green. All right. So let's go see back where we talked about it. All right, so this was when we talked about, didn't you hear me? So it started with, are you listening? And the second one was, hello. I guess so many O's, you have to say, hello. But this is very informal, right? Aha, are you listening to me? Right. Hello. Okay. So let's go back to the quiz. Here we go. All right, so that was question number 3. Let's continue. If you want to take over the world, you want to control the race, control the transportation, control the wars, control the universe, control the parking lot. Here's your music. Okay, so the question is, if you want to take over the world, you want to, the answer is control the universe. Let's check. Ah, it's green, right. So let's go back and see where, when you want to take over the world. Here we go. So take over the world, which means to control the world and to be in charge of everything, to have all the power. First one was dominate the world, and the second one, control the universe. Okay, so you want to control the universe. You want to have all the power. You want to be like a giant and you can step on everyone. Okay, so the answer is control the universe. Let's go back to the quiz. Excuse me. All right, so let's continue. That was question number 4. Let's go to question number 5. At the end of the conversation, the mom said she would bring what to her son? Milk and cookies, pancakes and syrup, candy and ice cream, mac and cheese, pumpkin pie and apples. They all sound tasty, but only one is correct. Here is your music. Okay, so at the end of the conversation, the mom said she would bring what to her son? Correct answer is tasty, delicious, scrumptious, wonderful milk and cookies. Let's check. Yes, okay. So the answer is milk and cookies. All right, let's go back and take a look where that was. Let's take a look at the conversation. Let's see. Oh, my sweet little pumpkin pie. So she wasn't going to bring him pumpkin pie. It was her term of endearment. It's like her nickname for him, that she really loves him and he's a sweet little pumpkin pie. But they're not going to eat pumpkin pie. So I'll bring you some milk and cookies. Sounds nice. Okay, so this was our conversation for today. And it's clear to see that the son and the mom seem to have a different focus. The son is content. He wants to plan his domination of the world. And the mom, she just wants to enjoy her sweet little pumpkin pie. Okay. All right. So let's see. What did we accomplish today? Let's see if we did what we said we were going to do at the beginning. All right, so here we go. Did we talk about an idiom? Well, yes, I think we did. Did we use a picture and the idiom to make a conversation? Yes, we did. Did we use pictures to explain vocabulary and phrases in the conversation? Oh, yes, we did. We did a whole bunch. Let's see. Legos, pumpkin pie, didn't you hear me? Mac and cheese. On the other hand, take over the world. And at the very beginning, remember, you're horrible. And you're a great artist. Whoa, we were busy today. All right. And did we test you with the quiz? Yes, we did. Check, check, check. So, did we improve your English? I think we did. Yes. All right. So we did a lot in this lesson. And thank you very much for hanging around and answering and making comments. That's wonderful. Okay, so I'm Michael, and you probably see my daughter over at Instagram. This is my daughter Chloe, and we're wearing our glasses. All right, you can find us on Instagram, ableidioms.com, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. So our motto is, don't forget, master your idioms, master your English. Okay, so that is the end of the lesson today. I'm just going to show the thumbnail one more time. This is what we did today. On the other hand, with conversation, vocabulary, and a quiz. And we did it live. Yes, no script, unscripted. Well, I guess there's a script. I have lots of material, but it's live, right? So if I make a mistake, oh well, we gotta move forward. Okay. All right, thank you very much for attending. Until next time. Oh, and we're doing lives for YouTube. We're doing on, let's see, it's Monday and Thursday. And Instagram, we're doing Sundays and Wednesdays. Woo, we're live all over 4 times a week. Okay, see you guys later. Have a wonderful day.